Hi everyone, Gary Francione for the Abolitionist Approach. I want to talk for a few minutes about the distinction between those people who claim to be vegan, but who see veganism as a matter of reducing harm, and those who see veganism as a matter of fundamental justice. Now, there are some people who claim to be vegan, but who will consume animal products. For example, they'll say something like, well, if I go to a restaurant where they have a veggie burger, and the burger itself is vegan, but it's cooked in oil in which meat is cooked, or the bun has some small amount of milk powder or some other animal ingredient. But I'm not going to be a fanatical. I'm not going to be a purist. I will consume that product, but I consider myself a vegan. You know, people take this position in all sorts of situations where they say, well, you know, I'm not going to ask about ingredients in a restaurant. I don't want to appear to be a purist or a fanatic. I just, you know, I'm reducing suffering. And as a general matter, you know, I avoid animal products, and you know, but I'm not going to be a purist about it because I'm reducing harm, and that's really all I should be concerned about. So you have people like Peter Singer, for example, who calls himself a flexible vegan. He says he's generally vegan, but when he travels or when he goes to someone's house for dinner, he may consume animal products, and he advises that we not appear to be fanatical. That's the word that he uses. Now, I'd like to ask you to transfer that reason, that way of thinking, to a situation involving fundamental human rights. I mean, what if I said to you, you know, I abhor racism, but you know, when I'm in the company of racists and people are telling racist jokes or making racist statements, I laugh along with them. I don't want to appear to be purist or fanatical, or you know, I'm opposed to sexism. But you know, when I'm with a group of guys and they start making all sorts of sexist remarks, or they start engaging in sexist or misogynistic behavior to women on the streets, I go along with it. I don't want to appear to be a purist, because overall I'm reducing harm by rejecting sexism and rejecting racism. And the fact that, you know, that I participate in some of these events really isn't changing anything. I mean, you know, these people are going to do it whether I'm there or not, so I'm not really even contributing to it. It's really no big deal. We would all reject that way of thinking. We would say, look, you know, if racism is wrong, you don't participate in racist behavior. You don't engage in racist epithets. If sexism is wrong, you don't engage in misogynistic behavior. You know, and so, but when it comes to animals, all of a sudden it's just, as long as we're reducing harm, then we can be vegans if we're reducing harm if we're not vegans. Because, you know, to be a vegan consistently, that's to be a purist or a fanatical. I completely reject that. The basis of abolitionist veganism is that veganism is a fundamental principle of justice. Animals are either things which do not matter at all morally, or they have moral value. It's binary. If they have moral value, we cannot treat them as if they were things. We cannot commodify them. We have to take their moral status seriously. And whatever else that means, it means at the very minimum, we can't treat them as commodities. We are committed to going vegan. And veganism is the moral baseline. It must be the moral baseline. If animals matter at all morally, then we can't eat them, wear them, or use them. So that's why I say veganism is a moral baseline. It's a moral imperative. It's what we owe to animals. And so when I'm traveling or I go to someone's house for dinner and they're not vegan, or I mean, I can always find something non-vegan or something vegan when I'm traveling, but if I couldn't, I wouldn't eat. I would miss the meal. Why? Because I don't want to engage in injustice. It's wrong to do that. And let me finish by saying this. There's some people who say, well, if I'm out with my friends and you know, and I'm in a restaurant and they bring something that's got some cheese or some beef sprinkled on top and I send it back, I'm going to look like veganism it's really hard for me to be vegan. It's really hard to be vegan. It's going to put people off being vegan. That's an argument that people make. It's an argument that Peter Singer makes. My response to that is, if you sit there and eat it, the message you've just sent to your friends is, you don't take it seriously. It's not a principle of justice for you. For me, it's a principle of justice. I hope it is for you as well. Going vegan is very easy. Go to our website, howdoigovegan.com. Thank you very much for listening.